Hi everybody. Alright, so I wanted to just make a quick video talking about the Continental. The first episode's just come out on Amazon Prime. It's the first of 3 parts. There's going to be a new part dropping every Friday. And one of the things I was instantly struck by was the fact that this first part, this is like an hour and a half. The best part of an hour and a half long, so it's 3 parts, but it looks as though each part is going to be the length of a feature film. So you're getting essentially a trilogy on the Continental. So obviously this is set way back in the 70s in New York, based on the New York Continental. So we've got the younger version of Ian McShane's character, Winston, this time played by Colin Waddell. Played very well by Colin Waddell, actually. You can believe that this guy is a younger version of Ian McShane. And he has a brother, an older brother known as Frankie, who was in Vietnam, and he's gotten involved with the Continental. He's come out of the army and gone into service with the Continental and the High Table, all that good stuff. And at the moment, the Continental is being run by Cormac, who is played brilliantly by Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is on top form here. He's bringing that really, really great intensity. He has such a wonderful presence here. But what happened is Frankie double crosses Mel Gibson and the High Table. He steals the coin printing press from the hotel. So obviously, Mel Gibson's character, under the directive of the High Table, we need to get this thing back. So obviously, let's drag Winston into all this. He gets brought back to New York from London, and he's given his marching orders by Mel Gibson. You go find your brother and bring him back to me, or you're both in for it, basically. And we go from there. So this first part, obviously an hour and a half long, we get through quite a lot of stuff in this. Obviously, we establish the setup of, the larger story that's at play, and then there's other strands introduced in this. Obviously, we've got the New York cops who are doing their thing, and also we kind of are establishing this relationship and understanding that exists between, you've got the underworld, the of hitmen and assassins, and then obviously you've got the police, and they don't step on each other's toes. They mind their own business. But we've got one of our main characters here who's an up and coming detective. She doesn't understand the way things work, and it's kind of hinting that that's going to cause some ripples or make some big waves. But it's setting it's setting up a lot of stuff in this first part for what's going to happen in the next 2 parts. Some really great stuff. They have some real fun with the 70s setting as well, and you hear all the horror stories that 70s New York was a very scary place to be. And you get some flavour of that here. I've got to imagine that will continue on throughout the next 2 episodes. But obviously, Colin Waddell, great in the lead role. Mel Gibson is phenomenal. I've always loved Mel Gibson, and he shines here. He's great at playing villains. Obviously, what we got here. If you see him in Boss Level as well, he's great as the villain in that. But yeah, he's on top form. And then we get some other familiar faces. Peter Green, great character actor. He guest stars in this episode. Really cool to see him. Katie McGrath, she's in this episode. She just has the one scene in this episode, but you've got to believe she's going to be in the next 2 episodes because she's playing an adjudicator working for the High Table, or representing the High Table. Her scene in it, she's great. She has a wonderful presence. She has this like mask on. It's like a half mask, so you only see her eyes. The bottom of her face is covered by this. It's almost like an opera mask. It's very intimidating, and she's great. Really like Katie McGrath. Obviously known to many playing Lana Luthor, or is it Lena or Lana Luthor in the Supergirl show? But yeah, it's great to see her here, and hopefully she'll have a bigger role in the next 2 parts because she's honestly, from this scene alone, she got a great presence. And always nice to see her. But yeah, so this the way this episode ends, it's drawn the battle lines for something that's gonna come in the next two parts. It's gonna be all out guns blazing from here on out. So if you haven't seen the first episode yet, you should really check it out, especially if you've already got Amazon Prime. What have you got to lose? And one of the things I will say as well, what they've carried over from the John Wick films, the choreography and the staging of the action set pieces is still absolutely first class. They haven't missed a beat there. They've really they've maintained the standard, and also just the creativity. And it's still very stylishly done. There's a tremendous sense of creativity, tremendous sense of style. Yeah, just there's some really really great stuff here, and it's nice. It's nice to see that, obviously, if I hope that John Wick 4 is the last of the John Wick films, but if we can continue just other projects set in this universe, like say this Continental, and then obviously next year we're getting the Ballerina with Anna de Armas. It gives me real hope, because it's such a great world that they've established and that they've built so far, and they're just continuing to flesh it all out. It's a joy. It's a real joy. So honestly, the Continental, this was a really really great start with this first part. Can't wait for the next two parts. So this Friday and then the Friday after. But yeah, please check it out, and if you've seen it already, please feel free to share your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. And it's nice, isn't it, that this is a franchise I really really do believe, whether you want to call it the John Wick universe, it's just gone from strength to strength. It really hasn't. It's so nice to see that. You can see that the people working on it, they care very much about what they're doing, and they really want to create something cool and something special. And it's just so lovely to see, because I'm just coming off seeing Expendables 4. I went to see that on Saturday, just gone, oh dear me. So for something so crushingly disappointing, and for something that had no life to it, and just there was just nothing. It was a whole pile of nothing. But to go from that to this, where you can just see everything firing on all cylinders, it's just so nice, so nice. But that brings us to an end. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the Continental. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.